Before we start the video, a disclaimer where I want to say that I'm using older videos to be able to provide you with high quality content already before the tournament starts, and therefore in those videos you will see the old spin value, and the old spin value is up to 7 bars of side spin, so it's a side spin value that is the old one, which is not the same as it is today. The thing that you can do is to take the side spin value in this video and then divide it by 2.33 to get the new side spin value. Obviously, there will be new videos once the tournament starts to display the correct spin value. And once again, this is done to provide you with the best possible content before the tournament starts, so you can get a head start with the Stateside Classic Tournament. So, let's go to the video. Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various type of wind, also known as older videos for the Stateside Classics Tournament, a mix of the Juniper Point, Vineyard Acres and the Santa Ventura. Video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That you can do for free by clicking the button in the bottom right corner. Also go to golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. Last but not least, get the Ultimate Tournament guides, which will be adapted for the wind changes to come, which will give you a major advantage towards your opponent. Get them through patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. When it comes to the tournament, there will be from Thursday the 5th of November a practice mode area or practice area in the game where you can practice the tournament holes by using your practice tokens, and follow the info box on the right hand side to get to you the elevation adjustment, club distance adjustment, also what ball and club type I do suggest you to play with, because here I obviously have a plan with my adjustment, but you don't have to follow my suggestions. That's completely up to you. Don't forget to hit thumbs up as well. If we can get to 200 thumbs up on the video, that would be really kind of you and I would be very happy with that. In the end though, let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we can play this one two ways in my opinion. If we have any form of tailwind, we will be playing for the green, meaning that we're playing for the area by the green or on the green. So you can see that I'm using a power 3 ball, using 4.5 bar topspin, and then like maximum side spin to the right. With the new side spin value, that would have been 2 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment is maximum distance plus 20 due to the fact that we're playing such a far downhill. Half a ball of curl to the right, and you can see that I'm using overpower, that is approximately 3 rings. Now obviously hitting perfect is going to be very valuable here, as a bad grade to the right or to the left would potentially put yourself into the rough. But if you do hit just a normal drive, you hit perfect, or just a minor grade to the left or to the right, you will see yourself being very close to the green, and that will reward yourself with a very short wedge towards the pin. And this is a wedge that we need to sink. And I never play wedges with spin, and the reason I don't do that is because I like to play it clean. I feel that I can then read the bounces better than if I would be having a lot of backspin or a lot of topspin, especially if I do have a bad ball guideline as I do have there on the skewer. If we do have headwind in this hole, meaning for the drive, then we cannot go over the rough and the sand directly, as you probably noticed. Then we have to bounce before. The thing that happened then is that you will, in that case, be playing with a short iron or a wedge towards the pin, depending on how far you will get up. Most of the times it will be a short iron from medium distance minus 10%, and that's why I added minus 10% medium distance in the info box on the right. And if we don't have the possibility to go over, you don't have to play with a power 3 ball either, and you then go with a power 2 ball instead. No matter what way we're playing though, this is in my opinion a must eagle in the tournament. For hole number 2, the first of the par 3s, I'm playing with a backbone and a Malin ball. I think there's great value in playing with a power 0 ball in tailwind, as you will then be able to find the maximum distance of your club in an easy way, and that will work as a splendid reference to then attack the pin, you know, to find the landing position. I'm going to here, as you can see in the video, I'm mixing a little bit with spin. I would say 3 bars of backspin to 3.2 bars of backspin in tailwind would be good. And I also want us to aim a little bit to the right of the pin with wind coming right to left to compensate for the wind push. And the reason why I want to use spin to offset my position is because if we move more to the right, we're going to danger a great right to be clipped by the rough. And then the birdie is going to be in danger, and that's never something we do want. So a little bit more backspin in my opinion, 3 bars of backspin here, and then offset with spin. I think navigator here wouldn't be wrong, but you can definitely save the better balls and play with a Marlin here to just make sure that and that is to only be in crosswind and tailwind. In headwind, I would say a navigator minimum is going to be needed as for the less power that we do have on the Marlin ball. Backbone, as that is my most accurate long iron. Otherwise, use another long iron if you want to. Tough one to get consistently to drop here, but definitely makeable. For hole number 3, we will be playing a very tough par 5, and this because we don't really have that much margin to play at. First, I play with the quarterback, and you can see that I'm playing with a power 3 ball as well. I'm using 3 bars of top spin and max side spin to the left. And look at my ball guideline, it's pointing to the center of the bunker, with half of the blue ring inside the rough. But I change, I move up a little bit because we do need to push this drive, so I use half of the red ring instead, but still with the same type of structure with the ball guideline pointing towards the bunker. Adjust max plus 10, and then we're using 1.5 ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the left. The ball will then travel up here on the fairway and it will sit nicely there. The thing that I would like you to have in mind is that if you're trying to go over the rough on the left, which is, if we do make that video again, you see there on the top left, you can basically, it looks like you should be able to clear the rough in a good way, which in my opinion you won't if you're not having a lot of topspin or a lot of tailwind that will extend your ball guideline. So please do not attempt that if you're not having at least, topspin as an extra mile level 9 or an apocalypse level 6 plus. Thor's not the Thor's hammer, so you do need curl, but something like that. So the plan here is just to play it simple, getting it up the fairway as far as possible. The further up we get, the better it's going to be. And once again, a quarterback would be a very helpful club here, as it has a good accuracy and a good ball guideline and will help you tremendously, especially if you do hit great. Second shot, now we are looking to get the ball to green. Here I'm not playing for an albatross in any shape or form, and the reason for that is that the fairway before the rough and the bunker there is very bumpy and it pushes the ball to the right. And look how close the pin stands as well. So we do need in this case to play in such a small, such a tiny margin that it's going to be very difficult to get a good chance. And I do believe that we will miss the eagle more times we will get an albatross if pushing too hard. So the thing that I do is that I'm using backspin and also side spin to the, a little bit of side spin to the right if needed, or a little bit to the left if needed, depending on where my position is after the drive, and I'm just landing it on the green, and I'm just going to take it for what it is. It's a very tough par 5. An eagle is going to be considered a good score here, and therefore I play it for the green and take it as easy as possible. We play the second shot uphill, and therefore a -10 adjustment, which means that the ball will be less affected by the wind, and that's the reason why we play it like that. Stay away from the trees on the right hand side for the second shot, as those are in play, and that's why I use some curl for the second shot as well. So a lot of things to think about for hole number 3, and that's why this one is made one of the tougher par 5s in the game overall, in my opinion. For hole number 4, we're going to play a par 3 that also is difficult to get some consistency on. I do believe that playing in the center is going to be the best way to play. I'm using 1 bar of backspin, and also in this case would be 0.2 bars of right spin with a new side spin value. And I'm using a Goliath here. The backbone would be my preferred choice, as we don't need power, and accurate is generally a more accurate club in a low level. Using a Maul in ball is also what I do, because we don't really need any power. But if you do want to reduce the wind a little bit more, you can use a navigator. Now we are just short in line and just need a little bit less backspin. The issue with the center play here is that there is a glitch by the fringe. That is something that we can catch if we are unlucky, but I do feel that playing center compared to playing left or right is going to be, you know, the center is going to be superior any other way, due to the difficultness to find the correct landing spot on the left or on the right. So backbone or whatever long iron that gives you the most accuracy. Those of you being lucky playing with the Grizzly level 7, those of you should be playing with that one instead, because then you have both accuracy and ball guideline. Medium distance plus 10 is the adjustment for the shot. For hole number 5, we're going to play a par 4 of the Santa Ventura, and here we're going to use the driver with the most power possible. This as to make this drive as easy as possible. So I'm going to use a katana ball here, as in tailwind and in crosswind I don't need more than power 2. In headwind I will be playing with a power 3 to prevent myself from going in between clubs. Here I would be using all from half a bar of backspin to 1.5 bar topspin depending on the wind angle, and also using 2 bars of side spin to the right with a new side spin value. Our plan here is to get the first bounce on the fairway and then to bounce up the top here on this fairway for a great position for the second shot. Maximum distance plus 5. Those of you that feel that that drive is risky, you can play over to the left. The opportunity from the left is going to be really bad though, as you don't really have any line there to play at, and therefore I go on the right to make sure that I do have a good line for the second shot. So a little bit tougher drive, but the rewarding part with a tougher drive is that the second shot is going to be very much makeable. Now, second shot, we're going to be somewhat close to maximum distance. We will be more or less in medium distance most of the times here. And you can see that I'm using 3 bars of backspin and aiming for the hole. The important part here in tailwind, ladies and gentlemen, is to have the second bounce to be just above the rough. Now we do have it just above the fringe, which is, in my opinion, approximately 1 to 1.5 range too high up in our position. Medium distance with a 10% over adjustment here for the second shot. And you will see this ball drop on the right side of the cup here, or like right side of the pin. The thing though with this is that we do come in my opinion, too hot. And we are a little bit lucky for the ball to drop down there. So make sure that when you add backspin, second bounce just above the rough, so you have the compensation for the extended ball guideline that we're having in tailwind. Crosswind, we can aim as we had there. In headwind, we can aim even a little bit with a little bit less backspin as well. So that is something you're going to have to adapt yourself. It's not something that a guide here can give you the answer every single time. But you should know that when you have a tailwind, you have an extended ball guideline. The ball will have a longer bounce than expected. That's the same in headwind, but the opposite, you know. You are going to have a shorter bounce due to compressed ball guideline. Then crosswind is just going to be follow the standard norm. In the end though, in my opinion, good chance for an eagle on hole number 5. Hole number 6, and we're going to play a hole of the Juniper Point. Here we can play over to the left side if you feel comfortable with that tiny fairway on the left. It's not a bad route at all, and I'm going to touch base on that one in the end of this video. First, we go right side, using max topspin, max side spin to the right, using a power 3 ball. I do believe a power 3 ball in whatever wind is going to be the minimum that you should use, as you would like it to prevent yourself, especially in tailwind here, to have to go with overpower. Here, it would also be great value of playing with a driver with a lot of topspin. A high-level big topper, or maybe in that regard, a big topper combined with a power 4 or a power 5 ball. Because the topspin is what's going to make it over the rough, and even if we make it with 4.5, the more topspin we have, the further up the fairway we will get, and therefore an easier second shot. Maximum distance plus 20. If you go on the left side, you still play maximum distance plus 20, and it's going to be possible to play that route with whatever driver you may have. And honestly, I think that route is a very interesting route to have in mind when we play in the tournament. So, second shot, we play, in this case, in close to medium distance of our club with our wood club, and it will sometimes be minimum distance, sometimes it will be maximum distance, and sometimes, if you do get a lot of roll on your drive, it will be a max distance long iron. So you're going to have to adapt based on what happens after your drive, so I just want you to have that in mind. Now I'm aiming 3 bars of backspin, 2 side spin to the right. The reason I'm using the side spin to the right is to take myself away from having to aim very close to the rough, but also at the same time that the green slopes right to left, and I want to prevent my ball to be pushed enough that much to the left and just stay on the right side there, and we're getting it very close to making an albatross. Here, using the sniper 7+, which has 4.5 ball guideline, is superior any other type of wood club, as the ball guideline here will help you tremendously in getting this ball to drop. Again, power 3 ball minimum in my opinion, 10% elevation for the second shot, you check what club distance you're in and you adapt. Drive maximum distance plus 20. For hole number 7, we're going to play the hole that I'm calling the time glass. And this is a very interesting hole, and the reason this is an interesting one is because it's tough. The toughness with this is that if we do have a tailwind or a headwind, we're going to change our elevation for the shot, meaning that we will, if we do have a tailwind, adjust from a higher to a lower point and have a bounce further back. And if we do have a if we do have a headwind, we will adjust from a lower to a higher point and then have a bounce further up as we will gain distance. Now I'm using 1.5 bar topspin, and in that case, with the new side spin value, it should be around 0.8 bars of side spin to the right. And then I aim for the second bounce to be just like around 1 green square into the green with the ball guideline to the hole. Medium distance plus 10 was the adjustment with the Viper level 7 there, and it was right at the pin. I'm not expecting this one to drop all the time, but if we do find a spot where we drop it, try to replicate it, because it's often going to be very consistent with that. Using a mauling ball or a navigator ball, we don't really need any better balls than that. And if you do have sniper level 7+, use the sniper over the Viper every single time, as then you will have a much better ball guideline to follow, and you don't have to guess as much as we did have to do there with the Viper. For hole number 8, I want you to play with a katana if you do have any form of tailwind. If you do have any form of headwind, we should be playing with a kingmaker, as then we will need that extra little power. 4 bars of topspin, max side spin to the right, and here the side spin 3 with the new side spin value is super duper valuable. I'm adjusting with half of the red ring inside the rough in complete max distance with my katana. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10, and then it's time to take our shot. Half a ball of curl to the right. If you have more curl, I would recommend to use that, but please do not use more than 1 ball of curl to the right. If you use too much curl, you could risk going into the rough on the right if you over curl it. The plan is to get the ball as far down the fairway possible, and also as much to the right possible, because that will help for the second shot. Now, the second shot is going to be difficult. Sure, there is a rough bump there by the pin, which you can play if you want to, but that is a risky one, as you will adjust down into the bunker and going to most likely have to it will take some time to tweak in a good situation. The reason it's hard to dial this shot in is also because we are not playing a linear hole. We're playing a straight drive, then we go just to the right, and that will not help with yardages and stuff like that. So I'm using a guardian because I do have a sniper in a very low level, max backspin, and I'm aiming for the bank at the top of the green for the ball to bounce, and then fall back. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit too much to the left, and it's going to still be an easy birdie. However, though, it's a safe shot. You will get a birdie all the time by making this shot, and you will have a somewhat slim chance for an eagle, but trust me on this hole is not going to be a general eagle hole, as this, in my opinion, is one of the tougher par 4s that we do have in the game. For hole number 9, we will be playing one of the tougher par 5s in the whole game, where to make an eagle. And the thing that we're looking for here is to get the ball to be as close to the rough at the top possible. I'm using the quarterback as we will not be able to reach over the rough anyway, so then it's better to play with a more accurate driver to prevent us from having a problem if hitting great. 1 bar of topspin is what I'm using, and then I'm using a max plus 10 in adjustment. Now I'm going to take my shot, and once again the plan is to get the ball to be as close to the rough possible, but obviously we're not looking to get the ball into the rough because that would destroy everything that we are planning to do. Ball gets into a very nice distance and we get to 313 yards. From there we're just going to transport the ball to get past the trees on the right. There are so many trees on the right and there's so much rough that it's absolutely impossible for you to get over that. So don't even try it. So you should play on the left, use as much topspin possible and the wood club with the most power possible, and then you aim for the ball to just roll straight forward, and the plan here is, as already said, to get past the trees on the right. Because getting past the trees on the right, you will then have an open shot towards the pin with your short iron. If you don't go past the trees, you're going to be in a terrible spot trying to get the eagle. And this is, whether we like it or not, is going to be a hole which will be played with 3 shots all the time. And the reason the 3rd shot is hard is because we don't have any yardage to work with. It's not a linear way of playing this hole as we're playing to the right. So you're going to have to kind of guess your club distance here for the 2nd shot. I like to use no spin here, so I'm not adding any spin, just to give myself a more control in terms of how I read the bounces. And when I do adjust, I adjust with no elevation, and I base it on the club distance I'm in. In this case, I'm adjust 0.9 rings for 2.2 miles per hour. And then obviously we're going to have to hit perfect. Perfect ball, and we'll see if I adjusted correctly here. We like how the ball comes in, but we missed that one just barely right, 1 decimal off. And that is what's going to happen a lot when we do not really have any solid data. And this will be a hole where the scores will be generally a birdie. And if you can get an eagle here, that should be considered a drop. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough with the older videos here for the Stateside Classics Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Make sure if you do have any questions, send an email to support@golfclashtommy.com. Also get the ultimate tournament guides, which will help you tremendously when it comes to a tournament with wind changes. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.